हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय श्रील प्रभुपाद जय
प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
निताय गौर हरि बोल।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय
गिरिवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीरवनचारी।
जमुना तीरवनचारी।
यमुना तीरवनचारी।
जमुना तीरवनचारी।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे।
जय राधे जय राधे राधे जय राधे जय श्री राधे।
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय कृष्णा कृष्णा जय कृष्णा जय श्री कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ।
जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ।
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ
जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी जय जगन्नाथ
जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा
जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भव तुम्हें
जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयन पथगामी भवो तुम्हें
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम
जय जय राधे जय जय श्याम
जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम
जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम
निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
निताय गौरांगो जय निताय गौरांगो
निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
निताय गौरांग जय निताय गौरांग
हरि बोल हरि बोल
निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल
कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री श्री गौर निताई की श्री श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र श्री श्री राधा दामोदर की श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश्वर बालाजी की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories all glories all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just one line, welcome.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining in. This is our community event, probably the first community event during the lockdown or the post-lockdown. So today, His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu will continue with the discussion that he had last time, probably a month ago. Should we depend on our strength or should we depend on Krishna? And he had the part 1, and today we'll have the part 2. So with that, we'd like to heartily welcome His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. Prabhuji is one thing I have heard from him lately, that he really appreciates the Evolve Pune initiative that have come up. So I wanted to take this opportunity to thank each and every one who are assisting in the Evolve Pune initiative. It is actually because of the team effort, Prabhuji. All the congregation, all the youth, they are involved in organizing and managing this Evolve Pune initiative. From hosting the program, from managing the website and everything. I was recently doing a program for Noida congregation, and they said they're following up Evolve Pune and taking up cues from there for their congregation. So I thought today at this community event, let's take an opportunity to thank each and every one of you for contributing towards this. His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu have had a lot of expectation and have given a lot of instructions on how to grow this community, how to start a program and everything. So we're trying to fulfill his desires and follow in his footsteps. So let's hope that continues so. And we are so fortunate that within a month's time, Prabhuji is able to come twice. So that's a good fortune. And I thought maybe after the program, I'll arrange the next year's schedule also beforehand only, before that gets organized. So with that, let us all welcome His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu loudly by chanting Haribo! As I explained before, he is the backbone for what all is happening here. So all credits goes to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. I'll make a last point and conclude with. Today morning, we're having a youth forum on the subject matter, how to choose an ashram. So some devotees are asking a question later on. So I was telling them, you after this today's discussion, now you should not be in a tathastha zone. You should be either antaranga or bahiranga. Figure it out where you want to be. I said, because then I gave my incident when I came to Chopati, when Govind Prabhu had asked me to come and spend some time in Chopati before making a decision for Brahmachari life. Then I was returning back along with Gaurang Prabhu from Wada visit. And then I asked Gaurang Prabhu, what's happening in this temple on Sunday morning? I had been living there for almost 3 weeks and I didn't see so many youth, white dress, and there was a lot of noise going around. A lot of noise means the Hare Krishna sound in the Prabhupada hall, and I never saw a program while staying there. So then His Grace Gaurang Prabhu said, oh, this is His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu from Pune. And because I had got connected in America, so I had no idea of anything in India except for Chopati. So I said, Prabhuji, can I go there? He said, yes, I'll take you. Prabhuji brought me there. And then Prabhuji was speaking on the subject matter of integrity. And I continue to struggle today also. And that time particularly I was struggling with. And it was at the concluding session. He was making the concluding points. And I was so attracted and affected by it. At that point of time, I said to His Grace Gaurang Prabhu, Prabhuji, can I meet him? So Prabhuji brought me and then he introduced me. And then I asked, which Gaurang Prabhu had given me a tip, that if you meet any senior, you ask him for a time, because you're about to make a very important decision of your life. So I asked Prabhuji, can I have your time? And I had no clue about how busy his schedule is. So I believe His Grace Prem Harinam Prabhu was Prabhuji's assistant or secretary. I believe in that role. And Prabhuji said, you come during lunchtime. I remember after completing our lunch, along with Gaurang Prabhu and the devotees, when I went to Prabhuji's room, His Grace Prem Harinam Prabhu opened the door. And he had a real anger look. What are you doing here? And I said, no, I didn't came here by myself. Prabhuji called me. He said he needs a little break. He had just done a camp and I had no idea, but I insisted. And then Prabhuji allowed me and had an opportunity to meet with them. And that's how the whole journey began to ISKCON Pune. And that's how I came to ISKCON Pune with that little brief interaction. So the whole thing began with that interaction. So I want to express my sincere gratitude to whatever I'm able to render service. Through him to my spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, all credits goes to His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu. And whatever we have here is because of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuhunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Very happy to be here with all of you this evening again. We did this topic of do we depend on Krishna or we make our own plans? Of course, we have been saying about the importance of depending on Krishna's plans for us. Just like when you go to a hospital, you take the medicines according to doctor's prescription or you choose the medicine. Like one man was lying in the bed and there was another patient lying next to him. So he saw the doctor was giving him cough syrup, which was very nice smelling. So, and the doctor was coming here and giving him injection. So the man became annoyed. He said, "Doctor, you're giving me injection and you're giving him a nice sweet smelling tonic. And why don't you reverse it? You give me the tonic, I can drink it if you wish. And then you give him the injection. So should the patient choose or the doctor choose? Doctor, because he knows who needs what. Correct, no? Like, in my in my school days, once when I went to a doctor for a, yeah, this one? This one? No, not your. And I want to show, I'll show it. You know, he had actually given me a cough syrup. When I drank it, it was so nice. But I asked him, how much am I supposed to drink? He said, only once a day, only 1 spoon. I said, if you wish, I can do 3 times also. It's very nice. You all have experience of that, right? Doctor said, no, not more than 1. Then I asked him, will you give me 1 more bottle after this? I asked him. He said, no, as long as your cough remains. So many times we present our wishes based on bodily comfort and mental comfort, especially based on body and mind. You know very well, the nature of the mind is called a sankalp, vikalp, accepting and rejecting. Based on what? Based on comfort level. What is comfortable for my body and what is comfortable for my mind. Based on that, we generally make choices in our lives. And for the body, we have comfort. For the mind, we have likes and dislikes. We choose what we like and we give up what we don't like. But oftentimes, you will see what we don't like may be good for us. many times. Uh, and what we like may be harmful for us also. And that's why we go by the mind. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna, while talking about the Rajaguna pleasures, he's saying that they are like Amritam in the beginning, but they eventually turn out to be poison at the end, he says. And the sattvic activities, he says they are poison in the beginning. He says they're painful, like, sleeping early in the night, rising early in the morning, and not keeping the mobile next to you during chanting, keeping it away, and also going through the chores of, dressing and decorating the deity, doing Mangalarti and Shangarti, Tulsi Arti, then, offering water to Tulsi and Japa, and hearing a Bhagavatam class. These chores of activities, sometimes they may be laborious. Prabhupada uses the word laborious in one place. He says that they may appear to be very troublesome and laborious, but these are required for us to get purified in the heart. These are very vital, very necessary. Like, for example, wearing a dhoti kurta and going to temple. It's more easy to just wear a pant and t-shirt and go to temple, correct? No? But just like when you go to NCC, you wear a NCC dress, correct? No? When you join Air Force, you have a certain uniform. Similarly, when you go to temple, you wear dhoti kurta and go. Although you may say that, oh, if I have to come with dhoti kurta to temple, then I have to wash it also. That's troublesome, isn't it? Actually, prior to coming to Krishna consciousness, many people would wear the same dress several times until it starts stinking. Then only they change, isn't it? But after coming to Krishna consciousness, we have to wear fresh dress every day. Just like when you eat in a prasadam plate, once you have eaten, the plate is juta, we call it, isn't it? You can't eat in the same plate without washing it. Similarly, once you wear a dress, it becomes juta, you have to wash it, and then only you can wear it. So now somebody may find it laborious to wash the clothes and dry them and wear them. It may be more easy and convenient and comfortable for our body and mind to just keep on wearing unwashed clothes until we really feel that it's thinking how to wash now, isn't it? So there are two types of pleasures we get. One is a lower pleasure, one is a higher pleasure. The lower pleasure is tamoguni pleasure. For example, to keep the room littered with papers and cloths and dirt, and then live in such a room. It gives some kind of pleasure for some people because you don't have to take an initiative to clean it up. But that is tamoguni pleasure. Sattva pleasure means you cannot tolerate the room littered with papers and cloths and sand and everything. You have to clean up the room and you have to throw the water, you have to clean it. See, in those days, people would never have a bed open during the daytime. We are supposed to roll the bed and keep it in one place, a place for everything and everything in its place. You're supposed to have like that. But nowadays, people have a bed. And if the bed is open, even when you come in the daytime, bed sucks you in because you become lazy to sleep. Because it has a tamaguna in it. Because we slept and slept and slept, we never washed it, we never rolled it. So therefore, in the daytime, we come, instead of sitting in a chair, you sit in the bed. Immediately, what is the next thing you feel after prasad? Yeah, isn't it? So that's a tamoguni pleasure. So the tamoguni pleasures are also pleasures, but they are of a lower standard, and those pleasures are binding. They are binding, keeping things unclean. So, in the same manner, if you see children, they prefer playing more than studying more until they are told by the parents. You ask yourself, should parents tell the children to go to play or they have to tell them to come back and study? Correct now. They know very well, isn't it? Yeah. No, very rarely parents may have to tell the child, they better go out and play and come. Without even being told, they go. That comes very naturally for them. But studying doesn't come very natural. Similarly, material sense gratification comes very natural in a conditioned state. But taking initiative in Krishna consciousness doesn't come very naturally in a conditioned state because we are not yet purified. So naturally, one has to be told, you have to come for the weekly program, you have to rise in the morning, you have to chant this many rounds, you have to read this many. Therefore, we are sadhana card. You see, for children, if you make a card, you don't have to keep a time for how much they play. Correct? They'll anyway play. So, therefore, the lower pleasure is material pleasure, the higher pleasure is spiritual pleasure, but the spiritual pleasure doesn't come without us taking some initiative. As per the instruction that comes from a higher plane. When you take those instructions seriously, then you experience higher pleasure. Like he says, tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet yasmat brahma saukyam tu anantam. He's saying very, very specific words are used here. He says tapo divyam. This tapa, everybody does. Even Bombay train, people are hanging out of the train. They are also doing tapa. Correct, na? And people working in IT companies 16 hours a day, sitting in the computer, they are also doing tapasya. But that tapasya is not divya, tapo divya. It is actually material, it's mundane. But here is specifically using the word tapo divya. So, austerity is done by conditioned souls for their own sense gratification. Even Hiranyakashipu did a severe austerity. 100 celestial years, he lifted his arms and something called as tadasan. One particular asana he did. Tadasan, they call it Tadasan. Tadasan, so he was standing like this and his hand started emanating some fire and he got a lot of power by doing that asana for a long time. And then the goal was what? It was spiritual or material? Material, isn't it? The goal was spiritual or material? It was material, mundane. So there was no spiritual essence in it. And it was also done with a desire for tricking Brahma. It was not, was it an honest one? So why did he ask Brahma with various different type of things? Not inside the palace, outside the palace. Basically, he wanted immortality, which was not possible for Brahma to give. It is like sometimes children snatching the purse of the mother. Despite the mother saying, Beta, no, don't eat the cocoa chocolate, I will not give you. And he's snatching. It's like he's snatching and taking from Brahma. So he also employed a trickery to trick Brahma and get the boons. And his penance was also completely mundane. And he was anti-Vishnu also, against Vishnu. So you can see that that type of tapasya ultimately is not rewarding. Ultimately it is destructive. You can see that. So, yes, we have to do tapo divyam. And then he is saying, Sattvam Shuddhyet, word is, it's the next word he's using. Sattvam Shuddhyet. Sattvam means the heart. Shuddhyet means purified. If you are doing Divya Tapasya, heart will be purified. Now, what is the proof? Heart will be purified. For example, a greedy person should become a satisfied person. An angry person should become a peaceful person. No. A lusty person whose heart is filled with lust should become transformed into love. No? Yeah, a cruel person becomes a compassionate person. A rigid person becomes a flexible person. In this way, some changes should come. A selfish person becomes selfless person. Arrogant person becomes a humble person. A person who always wants things instantly, he is ready to become a patient person. So this change of heart should happen. That's the meaning of Sattvam Shuddhyet. Heart should be purified. So it's not very difficult to know whose heart is getting purified. If somebody is arrogant, he is not yet purified. He is not humble enough. Somebody is impatient, he is not yet purified. Somebody is cruel and not compassionate. So that means the heart is not changing even after so-called spiritual practices sometimes. Many people do many things. So people are still stuck in tamaguna, rajoguna. So tapodivyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet. And actually sattvam shuddhyet, how it happens, see, consider a barrel with hay, full of hay. You just put one spark of fire, what happens? It'll all be burnt to ashes. And that's what happened with Dhruva. He had some impure desires, motivated desires in his heart when he went to the forest. When Lord Vishnu became awakened in his heart, that's like a spark of fire. It burned away all those impurities and his heart became clean. Then he could see that what desires he had before, he considered them like broken glass pieces. And now he had pure desire to love and serve Vishnu. So that is actually the proof that heart has become purified. So two things. One is old unwanted materialistic desires are gone, and the heart has become free from them. He has no more hankering for them. And the second thing is his affection for Vishnu increased. He wanted to align with Vishnu. He wanted to please Lord Vishnu. And he became a pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj. Sattvam Shuddhyet. Yasmat Brahma Saukyam. That's another thing he says. There's a bhautik saukyam, there's a Brahma saukyam. Like what you get by eating, sleeping, mating, defending. What is a saukyam? Bhautik saukyam. That's very short-lived. It's very short. But if somebody gets moksha, that is called Brahmananda. So there is a comparison in Shastras about different types of Ananda. There is a physical Ananda, there is a mental Ananda, there is an intellectual Ananda, there is an egoistic Ananda also. For example, Yeah. For example, if you're eating gulab jamun, what is an ananda? Huh? Yeah, that material only, but it is it's physical and very short-lived. So how many hours gulab jamun taste remains in your tongue? Few minutes only. You just put in the mouth. It goes down the throat. It becomes something else inside after that. Correct? No, there's no more taste. So very short-lived ananda. But you hear some very nice song. You like the tune, huh? And you keep murmuring in the bathroom. You keep murmuring when you're walking in the road. You like it. So how long it lasts? Probably for 2-3 months. Correct? No. After that, you want some other song. Then you get bored with the old song, isn't it? So mental pleasure is more than physical pleasure. It lasts for months also. Unlike the physical pleasure of gulab jamun or sex life, these are all short-lived pleasures. And mental is more, and intellectual is even more. Huh? Intellectual is like, you did something intellectually astute, which is not normally done by others. Huh? You applied your intelligence. Like in those days, in my college days, first year engineering, I was studying. So there used to be one standard formula in differential equation. Is there anybody who is a mathematics wizard here who is very enthusiastic for maths? We had one. You like maths, isn't it? So in differential equation, we used to have one equation. Y e power integral pdx equal to q e power integral pdx dx plus a, one formula, isn't it? You use that. Yeah, yeah. You use that to solve the differential equations. So I was solving one particular problem and it came in just four steps only the answer came. So then I opened the maths book and saw he had taken 6 pages to solve it. And I was amazed. How is it? Then I thought maybe I committed some mistake. Quickly answer came. Then I wrote to the author, Mr. M.K. Venkatraman, the mathematics author. So immediately I got an appreciation from within a week. He said, wow, your method you took was very good. So he said, in my next publication, I'll publish this. Oh, I felt as if I was flying in the sky. Oh, I was like a mini Ramanujam. You feel like a halo around the head. I did something very great. So I very carefully, took photograph of the page and showed to my teacher, my friends. See, I have found out a new method. See, if intellectually you do something, it is very appealing to you, and it makes you feel extraordinary. Correct, no? Similarly, I don't know. Some of you may be playing chess. When you checkmate somebody, how you feel, isn't it? You feel a kick you get because it requires a lot of sharp intelligence to be able to do that. Imagine you became a state champion or you became a country champion, then national champion. That gives you a very great happiness, and that may last for several years until another champion comes. Correct, no? That lasts for a long time. And egoistic means you are the first one to do something which nobody else has done. For example, in Pune, we have the Param computer, supercomputer, which was made by one. What is his name? That scientist. Huh? Ramesh Bhatkar. Bhatkar, yeah, correct. Similarly, say you are the first one to climb up the Mount Everest and put a flag. Like Hillary, I think, he put that. So can anyone else replace that position? See, later on people may do. But the name that the first one to do it will be whose? That will be yours. That means that happiness will last how long? This life. Who said that? Hey, you should give a chance to congregation, the congregation program. You should give them a chance to think. If you give all the answers, then they will lose the opportunity to think. So, if you are the first one to do something, that happiness lasts for the whole life. That's true. But the next life, when you take a new body, you don't remember the previous one. Whereas the spiritual pleasure lasts beyond death also. That's why he says, please repeat this verse. Ramante yogino anante Satyananda chidatmani iti Rama padena asau param brahma vidiyate. This verse says that the spiritualists are not fellows who are running away from pleasure. In fact, they are called as the connoisseur of pleasure. You know the word connoisseur means, for example, some people are connoisseur of art. They go and purchase special paintings, spending sometimes, 50,000, 1 lakh and all. They spend like that. Like one place there was a art, many arts put up, pictures put up. I went to see that. They said it's a modern art, they said. That was new for me. I only have seen the traditional Tanjore art and old art and all. This was modern art. And each picture I had to call somebody to find out what it is. Yeah. In one place I saw, it appeared like, this Alsatian dog we have, no? If it took his tail and mixed with the color and did like this on the it was looking like that. Yeah, it looked like that. So I was thinking, and they told me, oh, this is 1 lakh rupees. I was shocked. What is there? And they say, if you see from this angle, you will see this, you will see that, they were saying. So people who are a connoisseur of art will purchase such pictures with very costly money also. Because they love it. And also they can detect it also. Others can't decode it, isn't it? Similarly, connoisseur of food means they are very intelligent people in tasting the food and making assessment, whether it is proper or not. Like for example, halwa sometimes burns a little bit. Some people have a long nose. They will tell the person in the kitchen, hey, halwa is burning. And everybody else will say, but we don't get the smell. They have a very powerful, sharp nose. And some people will, and after the halwa comes, you give it to everybody. Most people say, wonderful, wonderful. They will say, one person will say, no, there's a slightly, it's burnt. And many others cannot assess because they have a sharp nose and a long tongue. They're called connoisseur of food. Connoisseur of food. Yeah, we have connoisseur of art, connoisseur of food. In the same manner, we can have connoisseur of pleasure. Connoisseur of pleasure means they are not going to settle with chota-mota pleasure. They will only go for the longest pleasure. Therefore, I told you, physical pleasures are the shortest. Mental pleasures are little longer. Intellectual pleasures are even more. And egoistic pleasure, I am the first one to do this. Nobody else could do it. This pleasure goes, for a whole life it goes. It's long. But the real pleasure is, that lasts for a long, long time, is spiritual pleasure. And in that also there are 2 categories. There's Brahmananda in the Brahma Jyoti. The Jnanis aspire for it. But beyond the Brahma Jyoti, the Vaikunthas exist. When one enters Vaikuntha and enters a personal relationship with the Lord, he never returns back. Yad gatva, and that pleasure is everlasting pleasure. So yogi is one who aims at that pleasure. Therefore, he is considered the connoisseur of pleasure. He will not settle for anything small. Just like sometimes you find a crane is standing in the water like this. And all the small chota fishes are going. All the fishes are wondering, hey, is it a statue? Or is it really a crane? Because generally cranes eat fishes. How is it this fellow is not catching us? And the fishes are all gossiping amongst themselves. And they are slightly going at a distance away from the crane, isn't it? And the crane is watching. When there's a big fish which comes, immediately he'll catch it. Similarly, connoisseur of pleasure means the yogis, they will only capture the biggest pleasure. So, one more thing. If you want bigger pleasure, you should be willing to give the smaller pleasure. Say, for example, one of the boys want to go to IIT JEE, for example, he has to study. In those days, boys would study from 11th and 12th. Then they started studying on 9th and 10th also. Now I heard it starts in 5th standard only now. I think then they start in the womb only, I think. Isn't it? So early. And these children do so much austerity, so much austerity. When I went to South India, one mother told me, Radheshyam Prabhu, can you please meet my son? He's too much, he takes tension and, he looks, I'm afraid he should not get any mental problem. He's studying for IIT, please take care, please talk to him. Call the boy, he said, Prabhu, I have no problem. I have only problem with my mother. Because she has big expectation from me. She somehow want to squeeze me into IIT. But I am not very confident. But every time she comes in front of me, I'm afraid. Only immediately when I look at her, I think IIT. So, you will see that. But for getting into IIT, how many of them you see, they forego many pleasures. You agree? They don't play. And mother is making coffee and tea and giving beta so much jao. Don't sleep. Keep awake. Study. After you crack the IIT, then you sleep. No problem. Till then, don't sleep. You all agree, right? They do a lot of tapasya. Same thing in a company also. Many people, when the boss is in the company, even if boss is till 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, they will also hang around. When the boss is about to leave, then the fellow will come in front of the boss and smile, just to indicate that I am still here. I'm not gone away. They do that or not, isn't it? They do a lot of tapasya. And after the promotion comes, you can go early. Because they were working hard for what? Promotion. You know that unless boss recommends me, I won't get promotion. And for that sake, people are ready to slog like anything. Which means in this world, everybody does tapasya. There is no doubt. But tapasya is done for material purposes in this world. But yogi is one who is also ready to not only do tapasya, he is ready to forego the previous pleasures. Physical, mental, intellectual, egoistic, everything. For the sake of getting that ultimate spiritual pleasure which the jnanis aspire for. As far as a devotee is concerned, devotee doesn't aspire for material or spiritual pleasure at all. This may be a shock to you. Really? Devotee doesn't aspire for even spiritual also. Then what more is there beyond that? Is there anything beyond that? See, there's a beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He says, मानस देहो गेहो यो किछु मोर अर्पिलु तुवा पदे नंद किशोर संपदे विपदे जीवने मरणे दाय ममा गेला तुवा ओ पदवरणे मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुहार नित्य दास प्रति तुवा अधिकार कीट जन्म हो यथा तुआ दास बहिर्मुख ब्रह्म जन्मे nahi mora ash. I'll tell you the meaning of this. He's saying, my dear Lord Krishna, I will give my home, my family members, wives, children, myself, all of us. I'll hand over everything to you at your lotus feet. Jo kichu more, he's saying, whatever I possess, I arpilu tuva pade. I offer it all at your lotus feet. Because ultimately you have only given me everything. And I will give it all back to you. Tera, tujuko arpan. I'll give it all back to you. And then he's saying, sampade vipade. When I am wealthy, I'll be your devotee. And by the stroke of destiny, if I become poverty stricken, I will still be your devotee. Sometimes one is a billionaire because we had this, recession and all. Then one becomes some billionaire to a beggar. Still, I will be your devotee. Sampade vipade, he saying. And then when I am living now, I'll be your devotee. After death, next lifetime, what I will do? Again, I'll be a devotee. Again, I'll continue to be your devotee. Not that only in this life I will be a devotee. Then afterwards, you put me in an easy chair, I'll relax. No, because I have been a devotee and you have to give me a relaxing place, I'll go and sleep there. No. I will continue to be your devotee birth after birth, he says. I will always be your devotee. Sampade vipade jivana marane. And then he's saying, Marobi Rakobi. You can do whatever you wish with me. If you decide that I should die, at a certain time, I am willing to die. For example, Parikshit Maharaj was saved in the mother's womb by Krishna. You all know that. Lord Krishna carried a gada in his hand and went round and round around the embryo. And the child was watching, who is this beautiful personality with 400 form, bluish complexion with mukut and kundal. His face is a beautiful smiling face with curly locks of hair. He was wondering, who is that? And when he came out, this child was also asking everybody. He was looking at the face of everybody. Is it the same person, same person, same person? He was doing tests of everybody. So he came to be called as Parikshit. Yeah. And he's called as Vishnu Rat also, because he was protected by Lord Vishnu also. But later on, at one time, he was cursed by one Shringi Brahman to quit the body in 7 days. At that time, do you think Parikshit went to a Krishna temple and said, my Lord, I have already a good experience with you. You protected me in the womb of my mother. At that time I was too small to pray to you. Now I'm big enough now. I'm praying to you. Please kindly make sure I won't die in 7 days. Did he pray that? No. Nottama kavartanam jushatam tat katamritam syat sambramantakaalepi smaratam tat padam bhujam. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam which says, devotees of the Lord, even at the time of death, do not lament. They know that every body has an expiry date. Just like a tonic has got an expiry date. This body also, sooner or later, will perish. Today, otherwise tomorrow. It will always perish. Some people have Alpayush. Alpayush means you die before 30. Somebody has Madhyayush, means 30 to 60. Dirghayush means 60 to 90 or 60 to 100. Beyond 100, where have you seen people living? Very few. If they survive, there will be a newspaper article about them. Somebody crossed 100 years. And after that, they may not live longer after that. It comes in the paper, and after 1 week, you come to know they're gone now. Huh? Isn't it? So in this world, who lives? Everybody has to die. One day, the body is perishable. There is on the day of your birth, the expiry date is written on our forehead. This is the time one has to leave the body. So Parikshit didn't lament at all. Rather, there's a story in America. One fellow, this is a movie actually. One fellow came to know from the doctor that he got some very serious blood cancer or something like that. And he will have to leave the body in 1 month. So this fellow thought, this is the best time I will see all the possible movies. He saw many movies. He enjoyed all types of eatables. He went and enjoyed with as many women as possible, and he paid all his money. He decided to exhaust his money by enjoying foods, enjoying women, enjoying playing games, flying here, flying there. In 1 month, money was almost over. Very little was left. But he found 1 more month he survived. And I was wondering, hey, very little money I have, I can't enjoy now. And I asked the doctor, sir, when is the date coming? And now 6 months he survived. Now you become a beggar now. So you will find, doctor said, I think some mistake we did. In the forms got misplaced. Now he said, we're going to survive longer. And he got a heart attack and died. Because I have no money. So, see, if people come to know that they have to die, this is what people do, correct? No? But what Parikshit did? Just see Parikshit. Parikshit thought the best people to ask is saintly people. He went to saintly people in the bank of Ganges. So there's one beautiful verse, the Bhagavatam, where he expresses his fearlessness when the death comes. Tammo payatam pratiyantu vipra ganga cha devi drita chittamishe vijopasishtas kuhakas takshakova dashatpalam gayata vishnu gatha. This is a very, very famous verse. He's saying, I am so fortunate that I am sitting in the bank of the holy river Ganges, and I am surrounded by saintly people, and I am hearing Krishna Katha also. What more auspicious thing can happen with me? In this beautiful ambience, if I leave my body, I am going to straight go back to Vaikuntha and meet the Lord of my heart eye to eye, and I have nothing to worry. He was very happy to leave the body and go ahead with the next destination, without weeping or crying or mourning or getting into some psychosomatic depression or something. He was very happy to leave. He had no fear at all. He became fearless even at the time of death. Therefore, he is saying, Jivane Marane. If I am alive, I will be your devotee. If I die, I will keep remembering you, and I will leave my body and continue to be your devotee in the next life also. And then he is saying, even if you give me the body of four-headed Brahma, who is the leader of all the living beings in the entire material world, he says, but if that Brahma is not your devotee, I don't want to be such a Brahma. He's saying, on the other hand, I am ready to become a worm in the house of your devotee. Why? Because in the house of your devotee, after devotees eat prasadam, some rice particles will be there. Prasadam particles will be there. Maha Prasad will be there. Devotees Maha. I will chant Mahaprasad, go in there and take it. And I can live happily in the house of a devotee, eating prasadam. Prabhupada was once saying, the horses, the cows, the bulls in our ISKCON movement are also devotees. He said, why? Because they are living in the company of devotees, they will never be killed. Correct? No, they will never be sent to slaughterhouse. And devotees actually deal with them very lovingly. When there are cows, devotees deal with cows very lovingly. They never send them to slaughterhouse. So, in this way, I will live as a worm, even in the house of a devotee, and I will be very happy. But instead of being a worm in the house of a devotee, don't ask me to become Brahma, who is an atheist. I don't want to be an atheist Brahma. Which clearly goes to show that his ambition is not material ambition. His ambition is spiritual ambition. And in spiritual ambition also, his ambition is not happiness. His ambition is service. He says, I only want to serve you. I have no other expectation. Imagine tomorrow one of you here from Yaval, Pune goes to Goloka. I'm just giving a hypothetical situation. You are landing up at the door of Goloka, and they will ask you first question, who are you? Don't tell your name. You should say that I am a follower of Srila Prabhupada. Or you can say, Namavam Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta. Then Vishnudas will know that, okay, he is a devotee from ISKCON. You will know. It's a Prabhupada follower. Then they will ask you, why have you come here? What do you want? You may say, millions of lifetimes. I have to take birth again and again. Now I am so tired. Please allow me inside and give me a easy chair to relax. Then what they will say? Go back again. They won't let us in immediately. Then what should we say? What do you want? Please remember this. If you haven't thought about it, this is the best time to know it. You should say that I want service. So devotee means devotees are more eager for entering service than happiness. Of course, when you render service, there will be happiness. For example, a wife who is a homemaker, she washes the house, cleanses the house, she washes the clothes and she dries it up and folds and keeps in the cupboard. And she has made some snacks nicely. And husband is coming in the evening. Husband is seeing the home is spick and span and agarbatti is put on and Lord is nicely worshipped. Clothes are all dried and folded and kept, and wife is giving something nice to eat and some juices to drink. So then who becomes happy? Husband becomes happy or wife becomes happy? Both become happy. Because when husband is happy, he expresses his happiness. That makes the wife also happy, isn't it? The same manner, when the living entities become Krishna's devotees and they serve the Lord, when Lord smiles, then the jiva also smiles. He becomes happy also. So happiness is there. There is no doubt. But that is not the goal. The goal is seva. So you should say, I want to serve. Then they will ask you, how long you want to serve? You may say, how long? Maybe a week or so. After that, can I relax? Then what they will say? Go back. Then you should say what? I want to serve forever. Actually, this is the problem with the impersonalists. Impersonalists are ready to do all kinds of hard work here, but once they go to Brahman, they want to relax. They want to stop the service. So therefore, their so-called service is self-serving service in this world. So selfish service. Whereas devotees, when they go to spiritual world, they want to continue to make garlands for the Lord, make dresses for the Lord, make outfits for the Lord, cook for the Lord, do everything like that. And they like to continue to serve. Even covered boys, when Krishna goes to forest, they decorate him with beautiful flowers in the forest. When Krishna lies down, they massage his feet. Sometimes covered boy lies down, Krishna massages the feet of covered boys also. You will see that. Actually, there is a delight in rendering service to the beloved. And that is not a very difficult thing to understand. You ask any mother, sometimes her small kid, 1 year kid or 2 year kid, in the middle of the night, the child may be weeping, quack, 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 and at 12 o'clock midnight. Sometimes, a man gets up at 12 o'clock and thinks, hey, you, daytime also you're sleeping very well. Child sleeps very peacefully in daytime. Huh? At night he gets up. Whereas the mother is working in the daytime also, the night also she has to get up, isn't it? And the middle of the night she has to get up. She has to change the diaper, clean the stool and urine. Imagine if somebody tells such a lady, see, your child is giving you so much suffering, so much trouble. Better hand the child over to some orphanage or something. Will she accept that? She'll give a big slap, isn't it? Because for mother, the suffering she endures in the service to the child increases her affection for the child. There is suffering. Nobody can deny that. But that suffering is not perceived as suffering by her due to her love. That's the point. So love resides in our heart for Krishna, and that impels us to serve him. So the service comes out of love. The selfless service comes out of love. If you don't have love, you can't serve. Like say your parents are coming in the airport. You have to go and receive, and both are bringing a big suitcase. They are struggling to lift the suitcase. Immediately you will go and run and snatch it from their hands, and you will want to lift it. It's not that it is not heavy for you. It is heavy for you, but out of love for them, you don't want to see them suffer. You take their suffering in your hands, and you don't mind it, and you are happy to do it. So in this way, when you have love for somebody, then you serve, and that service gives pleasure to that person. So this is actually called Tat Sukhi Sukhitvam, we call it. By seeing them happy, you become happy. So you will see in India, generally, the parents slog hard a lot for raising the small children to big children. But very amazingly, you will find that they don't, keep any expectations from the child. You ask any mother, what do you want from your child? They will say, I want to see my daughter get married and settle in life. What do you want from your son? You should get set in a good job and get married and peacefully settle. And what do you want? I don't want anything. I just want to see them happy. This is actually supposed to be a traditional mother, any mother anywhere. Of course, now when times are changing, some mothers are saying, what is your expectation? I want my son to go to America. People say like that. And what do you want about your girl daughter? She should marry a millionaire boy. She will have a lot of money. This is a greedy mother. Huh? But it is very rare. In general, the mothers don't have any expect. They simply want to see them happy. That's all. So the devotee of the Lord means the devotee of the Lord wants to simply make the Lord happy. And in Lord's happiness, they find happiness. This is the highest pleasure. And there is nothing beyond this. Love is the last word in transcendence. Prabhupada writes. Please repeat this. Love is the last word in transcendence. And nothing beyond that. Yeah. So if you have that love for Krishna, you have love for everything. Love God, love all. Hmm. Actually, how is it that when you love Krishna, you will love all creatures? You will not have any enemy in this world. Why? Because every jiva is connected to Krishna. They are connected to Krishna. Krishna is Aham Bija, Pradha Pita. So being Pita of all the jivas, if you love him, you have to love all. Therefore, Prabhupada asked the people in the West when he went, how can there be universal brotherhood without universal fatherhood? That question he asked. Because some people told Prabhupada, Swamiji, why do you bring in God? We don't believe in God, but we want to be like brothers and sisters, happily live in this world. Prabhupada said, how is it possible? Imagine if four sons come together and says, hey, take a gun and finish the father. Phew. Huh? And now we can divide the property and enjoy. Can they enjoy? If they finish the father, they will finish one another. It's obvious. If you don't love the father, then how will you love the brother who has come from the same father? Correct, no? So, therefore, Prabhupada stresses a lot on love for Krishna and Krishna consciousness. This is the main reason. If you love Krishna, you will love all. And that love impels you to render some service. And but that service pleases Krishna. And Krishna is pleased, it reflects upon you. Then you also become very pleased. And that pleasure is called spiritual pleasure. And the spiritual pleasure is everlasting, endless. Therefore, he says, Brahma Saukyam tu Anantam, he says. Anantam. It's unending happiness. And that unending happiness can be started right now while you are in this world. And this doesn't depend on anything in this world. See, in this world, I will tell you a simple example to make us understand how in this world, if you want some pleasure, it is dependent on many parameters. Like, for example, a boy want to marry a girl. The girl's father will first ask him, how much are you drawing salary? Is it all correct, no? One father said, if somebody want to marry my daughter, at least you should be 10 lakhs per annum, at least. Otherwise, don't even come. They have given a declaration. My daughter is an educated girl and at least we should be 10 lakh per annum. Imagine if it's a very good boy, he has good qualities, but he's only drawing 4 lakh per annum. Can he get that girl? He cannot get it. Similarly, there are other people, sometimes you find father and mother are ready to, give their daughter to a boy. Boy's parents are happy. Girl's parents are happy. Marriage is about to get, engagement is about to happen. Then the girl's grandmother says, the boy is little black, you see. See, our girl is very fair. It's not matching so well. So then after the engagement is cancelled. You will see that. Now how can you change your color? Maybe you can put some fair and lovely something. How much can you change? In this world, there are many conditions. You agree? Pigment of your skin, your economic bracket, and we come in which economic bracket, what's your education, what's your status in society, your prestige, and all these things. But for going to Krishna, do you need any of this? Will Krishna ever say that you say, I am Bhagavan, I am Lakshmipati, you should at least be Karodpati? Will Krishna say that? If we put such condition, we will be in trouble. He doesn't put any condition. For loving Krishna, he says, what he says you can offer? Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. See, if you are a millionaire, you should not just offer Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. According to your wealth, you should offer. But if you are very poverty-stricken beggar, still by offering him some, Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, you can still satisfy him. Practically, there are no conditions to satisfy him. We can give many examples. Somebody may say that, if you want an engineering degree, if you are a 5-year-old boy, can you get it? But Bhakti you can get. Prahlad, Dhruva, Narada boy. In 5 years they got Bhakti. You go to engineering college and say, sir, I am 5-year-old, can you give me engineering? It's impossible. For material achievements, you need many criteria to be fulfilled. But in Bhakti, the path of this love, you don't have to fulfill any criteria. It's love alone, reigns. Love alone rules in this place. So once you understand this, these things what we are talking now, when we understand it, then we understand that In the path of spiritual life, there is one very important consideration which Krishna watches very attentively. What is it? Do you go by your bodily and mental comfort level? And do you push in your own likes and dislikes? Or you are open minded to be willing to receive Krishna's plan for you? So you impose your plan on Krishna, or you are willing to accept Krishna's plan for you. So those people who are able to accept Krishna's plan, which is actually tailor-made for each of us. For each of us, Lord knows what is best for us. God knows best. And you will find that many people, they have their own plan for how they want to, model their lives, what they want to do, which is oftentimes their plans are opposite to Krishna's plan or independent of Krishna's plan. I can give you many examples for this. Like Arjuna, in the battle of Kurukshetra, gave 5 reasons why he will not fight the battle. Correct, no? So were they very cheap arguments or sound arguments? Sound arguments. They were based on dharma. Huh? So Duryodhana's paradigm was adharmic paradigm. Huh? And Arjuna's paradigm was dharmic paradigm. And Krishna gave a parodharma paradigm, which was beyond both. Now, let me give us a small example to illustrate these three, make it more greater clarity. Ravana, when he brought Mother Sita to Lanka, at that time Kumbhakarna was fast asleep. Now Ravana wanted Kumbhakarna's help. So arranged for hundreds of men to go and wake him up. That's another pastime. Sleeping Kumbhakarna couldn't be woken up easily. So when he would wake up once in a year, he would eat a lot and drink barrels of liquor and all that. So when Kumbhakarna met his brother, he told Ravan that, you made a big mistake by bringing Sita. It was not appropriate. You see, it's like tying a fire in your belly. It's dangerous. At the same time, you are determined to keep her in Lanka and you are not willing to give her back to Ram. And therefore, you are waging a war against Ram, which is not a very intelligent thing to do, but you want to do. And I, being your brother, I cannot, see you killed by Ram. So I will put my level best, I will put my best of my effort, and I will try to destroy this monkey army and Ram and Lakshman, everybody, and drive them away. But in case I die, what you should do? You should give back Sita. That is the condition he put, Kumbhakarna. And then you all know what happened. Kumbhakarna also died in the battle. But after that, did Ravana give back Sita? He didn't give. You will see that. So, Kumbhakarna, for him, the bodily blood relationship was very important. He was going by morality. Ravana was going by immorality. And Kumbhakarna was going by, he thought morality is to support the brother. He is my blood brother. So he wanted to support like that. Now Vibhishan was also a brother. But Vibhishan thought from, actually, Kumbhakarna thought from an ethical dilemma, we call it. Sometimes ethical dilemma. See, ethical dilemma means what? Like Pandavas are on this side, Kauravas on the other side. There are some uncles and cousin brothers. That's ethical dilemma. Ethically, am I right? Now, one thinks like that. Now, Vibhishan also thought to go against my own brother, ethically, is it correct? But he eventually understood that he is my so-called brother, but he is bringing another man's wife who is supposed to be seen like a mother. He is walking the path of adharma. And adharma should be punished. Adharma should not be spared. And Lord Rama is the personification of truth, is absolute truth. So I will prefer to follow the path of absolute truth rather than follow someone who is following adharma. With that consideration, he went and joined Lord Rama. So in a dark room is like adharma. And if you light up a candle or a lamp in a dark room, that is like dharma. But you can't take the candle and search for the sun. Sun is like parodharma. So he understood what is parodharma, who Vibhishan. So he walked the right path. You will see that. So you will find pure devotees, like, Kumbhakarna went by his own likes and dislikes. I like my brother, therefore I will support him. Same thing happened to Karna also. Karna had a tug of war. On one hand, he had Duryodhana on one side. On the other hand, Krishna was calling him to come to Pandava's side. So, and he thought, what is good for me? So he was attracted by the friendship with Duryodhana. On the other hand, he thought that I have eaten his salt, therefore I should not, betray him. I should support him. But actually, if you very deeply see, what is his friendship? When Duryodhana told him, Bhishma and you, both of you should jointly fight the war against Pandavas, did he agree? He didn't agree. He said, Bhishma out, I am in. Or I am in, Bhishma should be out. That's what he was saying. What kind of friendship is that? He says it's a sentimental, emotional friendship. True friendship means to follow what you are requested, not simply claim as a friendship and not serve the friend when he is actually in need. You can see that. And by the way, even if Duryodhana gave him salt, all the salt in the world comes from Krishna only. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, including salt also, correct? No? Yeah. Then why to take it? Why? So he didn't think like this very deeply. He went on an emotional friendship basis. He went on morality basis. And therefore you find he was knocked out. Eventually you will see that. On the other hand, Arjuna had a dharmic arguments, but he was willing to ultimately accept Karishe Vachanam Tava. He told Krishna that, Krishna, let your will remain and we will all follow your will. He followed it. You will see that. So this is the main point we are discussing now, that Lord has tailor-made a particular route for all of us. And you may ask, but how do I know what He has made for me? But we can always consult our mentors, our superiors. And I am taking this direction. We have peer association, we have superior association, we have our own internally, the super soul now heart, gives us discretion and guidance also. Inner compass, we call it. Actually, the inner compass becomes more and more prominent in the hearts of those who live a life based on integrity. Integrity means to keep your promises, walk the right path. Honesty means to say what I will do. Integrity means to do what you promised. So if you always walk by the promises you have made to anybody, and you walk the pure path regularly, gradually the inner compass becomes more and more prominent, and you can immediately see, little bit you are even speaking wrong, immediately the inner compass will tell you you are wrong. If you're doing wrong, inner compass will immediately tell you. Like you have seen this compass, any direction you turn it, always the arrow is in which side? It's in true north. You will always see like that. Similarly, you will have that type of direction if you are walking the path of integrity. So this is the main point when we talk about not making independent plans and learning to depend on Krishna. Now, what is the proof that I am depending on Krishna? You will see that the more we depend on large plans and execute the large plans, gradually we become more and more liberated. You will see that. When one Brahman was sent by Rukmini to Dwarka, Krishna asked him one specific question to that Brahman. He said, Dharmena na atikachrena, he says. Are you able to do your spiritual practices without much struggle? He's asking. That means if our spiritual practices are posing struggle, that means we are doing some karma prayas, or jnana prayas we are doing. That means we are a little bit overdoing material life. Otherwise, the spiritual practices will be very smooth and very relishable. Susukam kartum avyaya. If it is not susukam, if spiritual life is not blissful for you, that means we are materially doing some sense gratification and we are struggling with sense gratification, which is called manashashtani, indriyani, prakritistani, karshati. That's a big material struggle going on in this world. So that material struggle is based on material plans. And the material plan is based on the mind's sankalpa vikalpa, acceptance, rejectance. Acceptance, rejectance is based on what I like to do, what I don't like to do. We are told to do something, but we don't do that. We do what I like to do. And that's where the problems comes. And actually, what is that I like to do? What I like to do is, we want certain facilities which are not good for us. And we want to control certain people and boss over certain people. Where we suffer, they suffer. Example is Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was giving trouble to Prahlad. Correct, no? And when Prahlad was becoming devotee of Vishnu, Hiranyakashipu got troubled also. He is troubling others and getting troubled. See, in our lives also you can see, if you are troubling others, and they say that you are troubling them. Many people tell us, correct, no? How many of you experienced somebody telling you that I am getting troubled by you? People say that, correct, no? Yeah. So, actually you don't have to even imagine. They will tell you many times. Many cases people tell you, please don't trouble me, don't, chase after me, they say that. So they are also troubled and we are also troubled by them. Correct, no? Say, for example, many parents want to see the children protected and safe. Correct, no? You agree? But their love becomes aggressive love on them. Like especially when the child is becoming 15, 16, 17. Many mothers, fathers, they are very worried that the child should not walk a wrong path. That concern is good or bad? It's good only. They can have the concern. But 5 to 15 years of age, they have time with the child where the child accepts the authority of the parents. And the parents can raise the child accordingly, nicely, give nice inputs. That's the actual age to give instructions. You can give instructions. But after 15, children expect that you trust me. So you have given me whatever you wanted to give. Now you should also give me freedom. And children have a desire, I want to do some adventurous things. I want freedom. I want to figure out what this world is. I want to spend more time with peers. And but the parents want to mold their life in a certain another way, which the child may not want. Parents may say, why don't you get up in the morning? Why don't you water the tulasi? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Children want some freedom. You will see that. So even according to Shastras also, you instruct the children, you provide them facility and leave them after that. And by trusting them and giving them the freedom to grow or even commit mistakes and grow out of it also. See, we committed mistakes or not? No. If you see, I remember in my childhood days and all, father and mother, if you see, in those days, they were busy in their things and we were busy in our things. They would hardly interfere with us. Even when I was studying in college also, once in 6 months or so, I would visit home for a few days. And nowadays they have a mobile, everybody. In one day they call 3-4 times. You can see that. Similarly, somebody is going out of station. Have you reached the station? Have you boarded the train? After train, पहुंच गया क्या? Correct, na? बैठ गया क्या? सो गया क्या? खा लिया क्या? For every small thing, people phone now, isn't it? So much micromanaging. So micromanaging causes trouble to whom? Both. Causes trouble to both. Is it really necessary? And that is why people don't get time to pray for God. See, why they have no time for God? Because we are doing something which is karma prayas, which is actually not necessary. Similarly, there are also people who pamper their children. They say, see, we were very poor, so therefore we want to give our children 25 chappals. And we want to give them 100 dresses. Beta take this, Betty take that, and they pamper them with too much. Is that correct? See, my father was a millionaire, but he was very conjuice, very strict. He will say that, even if I ask him for a new pencil, he will say, show me the old pencil. I say, I lost it. No, you can't lose it. Go and find out. I have to show him this much size. Then only he'll give me a new one. When I show a small one. And I used to tell him, see, you are a millionaire, so much money you have. Why do you bother about this small pencil? I say, you say, no, this is not your money, it's God's money. You can't afford to waste it. Correct, no? But now if you pamper the children very lavishly, that is whose program? Is it God's program or your own program? See, becoming harsh also is our own program. Overly pampering them is also our own program. So our own program can neither make us happy nor make others happy. Finally, both are frustrated. Then you will be crying, "Arey, itna pamper kiya tumko? Still you are not loving me." And child will say, because you pampered me, I am spoiled. Therefore, I have problem with you. Correct? You understand? So, therefore, the scriptures say that we have to know the true north map that is given by the Lord. What the Lord is giving. If you know exactly what He wants us to do, that you do, that will make everybody happy. For example, micromanagement is not a universal principle. That is our principle. That's what he was doing. Who? Hiranyakashipu. He was too much micromanaged. Actually, the whole world was saluting him. Everybody chanted, "Oh, Hiranyakashipu Namah," except Prahlad Maharaj. And anyways, a small boy only. He could have spared him, but he was not ready. He said, "How dare you are not chanting my name?" He got on the case of Prahlad. You will see like that. So, Arjuna also in the beginning was presenting all arguments. Finally, he agreed to Krishna's teaching. And the scriptures are full of examples of this. full of examples of alignment. So today's topic was we were talking about the material difference between material plans and spiritual plans. Little bit I'll say about that. What is the material plan? Material plan is a plan arising from material desire. As simple as that. Now, what is the material desire? Simple definition. Atmendriya priti vancha tare balikam. Krishnendriya priti icha dhare premanam. That's the definition. Which means, if I have a desire for my own sense gratification, that is called material desire. And if I have a plan to please Krishna as per Krishna's order, that is spiritual. That is called as love. That is spiritual. Very simple. Okay, now what are the material desires we have? Some of you may be making a compartment thinking that, oh, that means, the spiritual activities like chanting Hare Krishna or, taking darshan of the deities, eating prasad, these are all spiritual. And then working in the computer, going to the company, living at home and doing our own activities material. This is a very wrong type of division. I will tell you why it is wrong type of division. Once when I went to, first time I went to the ISKCON temple in Juhu. So the senior devotee who told me to board the lift, So I was telling him, lift is for oldies, I told him. Lift is not for me. I'm a young man. I can climb up the staircase, I told him. So that devotee said, you see, I am also young. I am also not very old. I can also climb up. But he said, but we want to save Krishna's time. Therefore, we are going by lift, he said. That was like a lightning for me, new thing. Wow. He said, if you go by staircase, it will take you 10 minutes or 8 minutes or something. If you go by lift, it takes 1 minute. So 7 minutes we can save and use it in Krishna's service. Then I boarded the lift with him. Then we went up. When I went up, I saw a strange sight for the first time in my life. There was a glass, compartment like this. I saw through the compartment. There was a, computer in the front of which one sadhu was sitting and working in the computer with a shaven head, with a shika, everything. I have seen in my life sadhus, I have seen computers, but never together. This is the first time I saw. Very strange sight. I was shocked. I said, your sadhus sit in computer. What kind of organization is this? And I asked him. He said, this is called Yukta Vairagya, he was saying. At that time, I didn't know what is Yukta Vairagya. Later on, he explained to me. He said, see, our sadhus who sit in computer, they don't play video games. They don't watch movies. They only use the computer for Krishna's service. And he said, what is big of computer? In this world, we people see everything in this world as belonging to Krishna. Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to him. Therefore, you can put a tulasi in this world and offer it to Krishna. Krishna, everything belongs to you. And nothing belongs to us. So he said, nothing wrong in using anything that helps us to serve Krishna. He said, we are making PowerPoints. We are typing the shlokas and making printouts, notes and giving to people. Isn't it? Printouts of the notes and everything. So we are not using it for any wrong purposes. And that really made sense to me. Because I felt that, that means I used to think that sadhu means, he wears a loin cloth and sits in the Himalayas in a gufa, like that he's sitting and alone. And people will come from far, far away places, go and bow down to him and go back. That's a typical understanding of sadhu people have. And you're supposed to have beard also. Long beard, long mustache, long flowing hair. And the sadhu shouldn't speak also much. You're supposed to, anybody comes to you, you should only smile and just give ashirwad. We have our own idea what a sadhu is. So he said the real sadhu is one, he said, who uses everything in? He is the real sadhu. And therefore even a Mataji can be a sadhu, provided she uses everything in Krishna service. A child can be a sadhu. Like one little girl, her father used to give 5 rupees every day. So 6 months later, she told the father that they have this piggy, this thing, what do you call that? Piggy bank kind of. She accumulated. And the father called the little girl and asked her, oh, beta, your piggy bank is full now. What do you want to do with that money? The little girl said, I want to give it for Goseva. So I want to give it for Goseva and GV. Because I love those cows very much. She said, what a big heart it is. Because generally children would say, take me to the market and get me a very nice outfit. I want a gown. I want a toy or something, isn't it? The child wants to spend it for cows. You can see that. So in this, that means even that little girl is a sadhu. Because she wants to use it in Krishna service. So It is as simple as that. If anything in this world you use it in Krishna service, that becomes sanctified immediately. So, therefore, even if a man is living in a very nice, posh bungalow, very big bungalow, but he's using that bungalow for conducting a program like this, then his home becomes sanctified. Similarly, even if a person is marrying and begetting children, but husband and wife and children are devotees, then all their bodies are sanctified also. Yeah. In the same manner, you have a car, you take the devotees in your car or use the car for distributing Prabhupada's books, and your car becomes sanctified. Hmm? Or you have a business like our Radha Prabhu used to say, how many of you here have more than 4 businesses? So many of them raised hand. Because some of the people coming for the Artha Forum, they have more than 4 businesses. Then you would say, add one more business. You would tell them. And many of them said, no, sorry, our life is very busy, even with 4 businesses. Okay, how many of you think you can take it as a challenge? And everybody raised hand. Yes, we can start one more business as a challenge. We can stretch a little bit and do that. And the profit of that business totally diverted to Krishna. Don't touch a single penny in that business. That business is for whom? Krishna. If you do that, then all your business and earning is sanctified. So he said that everybody clapped hands for that. Earn with integrity and spend with compassion. This is a very famous statement of His Holiness Raghunath Maharaj. He would speak on that. Earn with integrity and spend with compassion. You will learn this if you divert one of your businesses profits to Krishna service, like that. So in this way, while living in this world, aligning with Krishna means what? The first step in aligning with Krishna is to know that everything is created by Krishna and everything is existing for the pleasure of Krishna. For example, in the morning, a beautiful flower is blossoming in the garden. You should pluck it and offer it to Krishna. Yeah, very nice mango is ripening in the tree. Pluck it and offer it to Krishna. Similarly, you find Navaratnas coming in the ocean. Make nice jewelry and offer it to Krishna. Everything is meant for him. And if you do that, you may not know what happens when you do that. For example, in summer season, you find all over the country there are lakhs and crores of watermelons come during the summer season. So I was asking students, why watermelon comes? He said, summer season we are very thirsty, therefore watermelon comes. See, yes, it is true that Krishna is kindly giving watermelon during summer season, so everybody can drink. But you should pluck a watermelon and offer it to Krishna. Then that watermelon tree next life gets a human body because his fruit was used for Krishna service. And the boy who offered the fruit and accepted it as prasadam, then he also gets his heart purified. And he also makes advancement. So who benefits? Tree benefits or he benefits? On the other hand, if you pluck a watermelon and you cut it and you only drink everything, the watermelon tree will be angry on you. Or I am producing for whom? And this fellow is? He plucked it from me, he is stealing. What I am making for Krishna, he is taking away. Correct, no? So then the tree also doesn't benefit, and this fellow also is committing sin. What is that? This one says, Bunjate te tu agham papa ye pachanti atma karanat. Then that way it becomes sinful without offering to Krishna. So he gets sin, that tree loses opportunity to serve. Now apply the same logic to everything else. In this crowd, who all are singers? You can raise the hand. Who all sing Hare Krishna very nicely. The problem is they are Vaishnavas, they will not raise the hand. Others can raise hand for someone else. You tell the name. You all can tell names of somebody who sings very well. Pranab Pallavi Mata sings well, Pranab Prabhu sings well. Who else? Oh? Chargoin Prabhu? Yeah, Shardul Prabhu. Shardul Prabhu is tiger. Uttishta Nara Shardula Trailokyam Mangalam Kuru. Yes, tiger like courage in Krishna consciousness. Okay? And who else is a singer? So, yeah? Who? Ananchesh Prabhu is a wonderful singer. I saw him singing. Yeah, that's true. So, now all these singers, their singing ability is meant for whose pleasure? Yeah. So, they are using it in Krishna's pleasure. So, their singing ability is getting sanctified by that. On the other hand, before becoming devotees, you all know, we used to go to cinema and sing cinema songs, correct? We used to buy a cinema song book. There was a song book? Thin one, 4 or 5 pages. And we'll be memorizing the songs very faithfully, very carefully. Yeah? And we'll keep singing it, practicing it, correct? Even in schools and colleges, we sing cinema songs, correct? No? That is the misuse of our singing ability, correct? No? In the same manner, speaking ability. Now, Imagine if I am not a brahmachari in ISKCON now, I was a mechanical engineer, I was a machine design engineer, I will be in University of Orlando, Central Florida, doing my doctorate and subsequently a machine design engineer in America now. I will be using this intelligence for some machine design. So I asked my boss when I was working in Mother and Plat company in Pune, it was in Hinjewadi. So when I became Hare Krishna, I met my boss once. He said, "Oh, Radheshyam, we are missing you very much. If you are in our company, we would have promoted you," he said. Then I asked, what would have happened after promotion? He said, we would have sent you all over the world, to Germany, to Australia, to London and America. So after going there, what I will do? He said, yes, you can see Australian pumps, you can see London pumps, you can see Germany pumps, German pumps. I said, see, you will only be giving me pumps darshan. Now I am seeing darshan of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, isn't Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Vandam Chandra. I told him, I'm getting this darshan now. So he also laughed. So you can see that now I feel my intelligence is best utilized. And it is used for a spiritual purpose. Correct, no? Actually, there is one verse in Bhagavatam which says this. Idam hipumsas tapasashrutasya vam sishtasya suktasya jabuddhi dattayoho avichuto atta kavibir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. This verse says, yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. Every talent and everything in this world should be utilized for glorifying Krishna. It's not only we say that you should do it, it is meant for that only. It is meant for that purpose only. It is not meant for any other purpose. Like, wife and children, they are aligned with the man, leader of the house. Similarly, the people in a state are aligned with the CM. People in a country are aligned with the PM. Similarly, all the living beings are supposed to align with the Supreme Godhead, everybody. And the aligning means knowing that everything belongs to Him. And the beauty is what? We say everything belongs to Him, but after giving Him, He gives it back. Correct, no? So, there is a very beautiful Bhaktivinoda Thakur's somebody can read this, please. I'll project it, just a minute. This is written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, it's amazing writing. I was thrilled when I read it. Anand can read it. Is coming? Okay. So, here what he says, he is especially talking about how we are offering everything to Krishna. Prasadam, why we offer? Please read it.
Prasadam, why we offer. Though fully aware that the Lord is completely unconditioned, our holy and sweet principle of love takes a different view to that of the rationalist.
See, there are two people. One is a devotee, another one is a rationalist. So the rationalist's outlook of God is different, and the devotee's outlook of God is different, and he's going to compare both now.
Reason says one thing, but love prescribes the opposite. Reason tells me that God has no sorrow, but love sees God in tears for His Son who are misled to evil.
For example, some people say, we are all in this world, we are suffering, God is impersonal and God is beyond. If you perfect and attain moksha, you will attain Him. Otherwise, you suffer. Who is watching? They think like that. But the truth is, God is a person. Krishna is a person. And He feels sorrow when He sees His children, misusing the free will and suffering in this world. He is not happy. How do you know? In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said the Paramatma feels pain in his heart when he sees that the sons and daughters are misusing the free will and suffering. Even all of you will see parents, when children suffer, your suffering is more than when you yourself suffer. You agree? Yeah, yes.
Reason tells me the strict laws of God reward and punish me in a cold manner, but love reveals that God slackens His laws to the repentant soul.
That is apichet sudaracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Lord says that if my devotee commits a mistake and repents for that mistake, I forgive my devotee very easily, because the devotees cry out loudly, alas, my Lord, I have spoiled your good reputation by my ill behavior. Serve me any punishment that you wish. I am ready to accept the punishment. And I will never ever repeat this sinful activity. Like that, the devotee repents bitterly. Seeing that, Krishna immediately forgives the devotee. Yes.
Reason tells me with all his improvements, man will never touch God. But love preaches that on the conversion of the soul into a state of spiritual womanhood, God, unconditioned as he is, accepts an eternal marriage with the liberated soul.
That is the gopis. When the jiva adopts the mood of a gopi, Lord is welcoming the jiva back home, back to Godhead. Whereas many of them impersonally say that, even if you make a lot of improvements, if you have this problem, that problem, you can never touch God. God is very great, He is Anirvachaniya, He is Nirvishesha, like that they talk. Whereas actually the Lord has a personal form in which He is very easily accessible. He is Sulabham to attain, yes.
Reason tells me that God is in infinite space and time, but love describes that the all beautiful Lord is sitting before us like a respected relative and enjoying the pleasures of society. As a father, in his amusement with his young children, God is spreading all sorts of delicious food all over the earth and expecting his son to gather them for their own benefit.
Correct, no? So what are the delicious things that He is spreading out on the earth? Like there are 6 types of taste, you know that? Sweet, sour, salt, pungent, astringent, and bitter. 6 type of things. For example, each of you sitting here, you will see that you have different tastes. I have experience when I'm serving prasad. Sometimes some people want only rice. Correct, no? They take a big heap of rice. They make a hole in the middle. And they take a lot of dal in that, like a tank. Correct, no? And the other people say, no rice at all. They want only roti only. They like only roti. There are some people who say, only rice and sabji only. Then I will tell them, please take little liquid, little dal, because I cannot take any food without liquid. I used to tell them, please, Prabhuji, little, it's a nothing. How many of you know that? Bengalis, only rice and sabji, yeah. And also they begin with Karela, a little bitter. And then gradually they proceed to the other sabjis. And Gujarati start with sweet. Morning, you will see that. Correct, no? And you will find everywhere people have different type of tongue. And tastes also, different type of taste, you will see that. And God knows that my children have a long tongue and they will want tasty foods. Imagine in the nature, God created only rice, nothing else. Daily morning rice, evening rice, afternoon rice, night rice, and no other taste at all. How worse, life would be so boring, isn't it? So, sometimes you find in South India, they make rice, but they add many things to that, like puliyodara, you know that? Lemon rice, correct, no? Tomato rice. Yeah, tamarind rice, so many different varieties in there. Similarly, they make the savoy also like this. In that also, they add so many flavors. So you will see he has given spices. He has given this, what do you call, turmeric or hing or elaichi, or you find kaju, kismis, adarak, all these different things you find. So many varieties in nature and everything has it adds different taste to that. If you put ginger, it has another taste. The pongal, we put this round, what do you call it, miri? Black pepper. Black pepper. See, black pepper powder, it is even more tasty. And you roast it and powder it. Correct, no? Yeah, similarly, you give jeera and all the chaunk you give. Once the chaunk is given, masala is put, what attractive thing. Imagine without that, you are supposed to take only plain rice. Who can eat in this world? Because God knows. Actually, see, we all have rebelled against Him. For rebelled souls, He is giving like this. And for surrendered souls, I don't know what He will give. Correct, no? Even after rebelling, see, many times if children don't obey the parents also don't cooperate with children much. Imagine one of you think about your son, he's studying in engineering college. He's failing in the first year, failing in second year, you're sending him money. He's eating, drinking, sleeping and doing merry, but he's not studying. Will father be angry or not? Will he send him money regularly? But Krishna is sending. You can see that. That means how compassionate he is, you can see that. Even for the unsurrendered, rebellious, wayward children also is providing so much. You can see that. That's what he's saying. So he's spreading all these things on the earth, and then read further.
But the loving children, out of their holy and unmixed love, gather all the scattered blessings and with the strong feelings of love, regardless of reason, offer all the blessings to the Father, whom they love more than their lives.
This is the way devotional service should be done. We should actually express our love for Krishna more than our lives. Therefore, we call him as Pranadhan or Prananath, we call like that. Isn't it? Such a beautiful language Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written. Read further.
The Father, again in the reply to their kind feelings, gives back the offering to the children and kindly tells them, "Oh, my children, these blessings are intended for you. Out of your natural love, you bring them to me for my enjoyment, but naturally I have no wants for you to supply. I have, however, accepted that part of your offering which is for me, your unmixed love and unbiased affections, for which I am exceedingly anxious. Take back these sweet things and enjoy them.
And that is called prasada. So he is explaining what is prasad. He is explaining with such a powerful language. So he only looks for that affection and love from the jiva very naturally, just like sometimes a child picks up some rice and gives to parents like that.
This process of unbiased love, which dry reason can never approach, sanctifies the food and sanctifies the food we take and brings us harmless enjoyment every day of our natural life. This is a system of sincere worship which thieves of higher class alone can act upon.
These are higher class are the bhaktas. Yeah.
We cannot express the joy we often felt when we took the Mahaprasad in the temple. The holiness we attach to it is its sweetness, and often we pray that all men may enjoy it.
What a language, isn't it? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's in Bhakti Vinod Vani.
Bhakti Vinod Vani Vaibhava, translated by Bhumipati Das.
Yeah. So, in this way, you find Bhaktivinoda Thakur's such a wonderful writing. So now you understand what we mean when we say this, correct? No? You have to offer everything to Krishna. So when we talk about material plan, means acting independent of the Lord. That is actually called material plan making. Independent. So there is one verse about Ambarish Maharaj. Griheshu, Dareshu, Suteshu, Bandushu, Dvipottama Sanjana Vadivashu. Like that it starts. It talks about a king holding big kingdom, elephants, horses, treasury, many wives, many children, many ministers, and a huge population of the earth, all of them saluting him. In the midst of that he was living, but was not attached to them. And he thought that all these things belong to Krishna. And he engaged everyone and everything in Krishna's service. And he didn't control them, he didn't boss over them, he didn't micromanage them, he didn't torture them. Hiranyakashipu tortured the people. Isn't it? He micromanaged even Devatas. He took away the Devatas' posts in his hand only, Hiranyakashipu. Just opposite to that, you find Ambarish Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, and all those great kings. They utilized everything in Lord's service. So, now I told you about the superior role and subordinate role while living in this world. Another thing we should say, if you are doing devotion service with other devotees, what are the expectations you will have as a result of your devotional service? Generally, we think, how many books I distributed in December month? People ask about the quantity. That's one thing. What rank you got? So these are things which people immediately think about. But actually, in any service we render, we should ask about, did this service bring us together, appreciation for one another? And we developed affection for each other. Like, for example, if a husband and wife come together in marriage, like a boy and girl get married and become husband and wife. What is success of a family? Somebody says, our son is in America, daughter is in Canada, and we have a business which is a flourishing business. We have gone from 1 crore to 100 crore. Many people may think it's a successful family. But if you very truly see, how affectionate are the members of the family with each other, how much they respect one another, how much they are appreciative of one another, how much they are God-centered life they are leading. Is their life one of good quality? Is the home sweet home, or only they have the board sweet home? Some people put a home sweet home. Correct, no? So these things should also be checked. In the same manner, in the path of Krishna consciousness also, when we are talking about material plan making, spiritual plan making, if it is material plan making, we will go by the quantity. We will simply go by external achievements. For example, holding post, holding facilities, being very popular, and all these things are external or internal. They are external. In the world, the whole world goes after all these things. But internal, what are the internal successes? I will tell you some, you all can add to that. Like, developing seva bhav. That's one internal thing. Anybody else similar? Humility. They have been developing Vaishnava qualities. Humility, tolerance, simplicity, those things. Anything else? Respectfulness. Yeah, love, respect and trust with Vaishnavas. That's a great achievement if you have it. Yeah. What else? Satisfaction, he said. Yeah, not hankering, not burning in the heart. See him or see her, they are having not burning in the heart. Satisfaction. Then? Enthusiasm in doing service. Not just doing the service for the sake of doing, no? But doing it, putting the heart in the service we do. What else? Tolerance, compassion, yeah. What else? Being humble, that's true. Appreciating other Vaishnavas without becoming arrogant. And also acting for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Becoming responsible and not be careless. So these are things we can expect that we should develop in spiritual life. Actually, in fact, as I have been telling right from the beginning of the talk today, the most important mood is we should be unselfish. And our heart should be ruled over by love, not by any other motivations. And also our only interest should be, let me please Guru, Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. I would say 3 words. You all can repeat after me. Let me serve, satisfy, and please Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. So this should be our aspiration. That means serve means it's one level. Satisfy is a higher thing. And please is even more higher thing. I remember last time I told you an example for this. You remember that? Like for example, there was a devotee serving prasadam. Prasad was over. All the prasadam buckets were kept inside the bureau. Then one devotee came late, half an hour late. Then I told this fellow, hey, go to the prasadam hall, open the bureau, give prasadam to him. So that fellow opened the bureau, took out all the buckets, and he put in the prasadam. Enough, he was asking. Rice, dal, chapati, sabji, enough. And the devotee said, enough for now, Prabhuji, it's enough, he said. Then he kept everything inside and locked and went away. Then when the devotee, after eating, he washed his plate and came, I asked him, so Prabhu, how was the prasad? He said, are you satisfied? I asked him. He said, Prabhu, he served me, prasad. But after finishing the plate, I liked some items. I wanted second time. I phoned him, he was not lifting the phone. I went around, I couldn't get him. Then I was missing a little bit. It's all right, he said. Then I said, can I get some item for you? He said, no, Prabhuji, now I have already gotten up now. Evening I will eat more, like that, he said. So this devotee was serving him, but did not make an effort to satisfy him. He only served him, that's all. Then another day I told this devotee, hey, that day you did like this. Now you should be careful, I told him. He said, okay, Prabhuji, now I will be careful. Another time devotee came. So he took out the buckets and he gave him the plate. And then he said, Isko kali the plate, then I will come, he said. Then afterwards he came. Then he asked him, you want anything more? Then the devotee wanted 1 or 2 items, he gave him. Put inside and went away. Then I asked that devotee, how did you feel? He was another devotee. He said, yes, Prabhuji is a good soul. He came and, second time also he came and gave me. Towards the beginning he was there and the end he was there, he gave me. Are you satisfied? Yes, Prabhuji, I am satisfied. Then, third time when another devotee came, instead of him, I told another devotee to give him prasad. So that devotee not only opened the bureau, he gave the prasad to him, sat with the devotee, asked him, Prabhuji, where are you come from, which temple you belong to, what service does he do, and this, and they talked to him, throughout the prasad, he talked to him. And after he finished the prasad, he said, wait a minute, I'll get some Mahaprasad for you. Went to the deity room and got some special sandesh. Now, you would like to have this, thank you. And he also gave 4 more sandesh to pack and take for his temple. When that devotee came, I said, Prabhuji, in your temple, devotees they are not human beings, he said. Then I said, then what? Are they animals or what? Prabhu, they are all like from Goloka, they have descended. I said, what makes you feel like this? He said, Prabhuji, I am a newcomer. He doesn't even know who I am. He is talking like a blood brother. He's talking like an elder brother. Sitting just next to me, serving me prasad. I asked him, that means are you satisfied? Satisfied is a small word, Prabhuji. I am more than pleased. He's excited. In fact, I have taken his phone number. I have told him, Prabhuji, you have to come to our temple. And I am looking for an opportunity when I can serve him. He served me so well. This is called as exceeding expectation. That's why in serving Hari or Guru or Vaishnavas, we should exceed expectations. Serve, satisfy and please. If you're doing this, that means this is a way we can go beyond all material plans. And also, for example, I am serving prasadam now in a buffet system. Should I serve them as per their request or as per my desire? Very obvious, right? No? So I am giving dal. Somebody says, Sometimes I give kadhi also. Some people don't want kadhi. You all know why. Because they don't take dahi item. Correct, no? I say, no, Prabhuji, I am giving. How can you say no? You have to eat. Can I say then? Because who is going to eat? He is going to eat. So this is the way we have to serve Hari Guru Vaishnavas. We should serve them as they want us to serve. Not the way we want to. That's the meaning of aligning with Krishna. That's the meaning of that. Correct, no? And also in whatever quantity they want, we should serve. Say, sometimes you are giving sweet at the end, we go with a bucket. Correct, no? Some people have finished everything, they are still watching. And you know that they won't mind taking more. And you ask Prabhu, little more sweet. They say that, Prabhuji, already 2 times I have taken 2 vatis, and that they are very shyly smiling. And you say, no problem, take 1 more spoon. We should give or not? Because you know that from their face, you can make out. They like it. On the other hand, somebody has folded the pattal and says, no, Prabhuji, 3 times okay, I have sweet. Now I cannot take. You force open the plate and put it in. Will you do that? Is it correct? Will you do that? So it's very obvious. How to please others is not very... How to please other devotees is not very difficult to know. It's very obvious actually. So therefore, while pleasing Guru, Vaishnavas and Lord Hari, one has to find out what is that desire and how I can please them. If we can do this, then we don't have any more material plan making. Then it's only spiritual plan. And actually we can be happy, they can be happy. Like if a person is looking for a little more sweet, and sometimes we are going for a round, he's saying, Prabhuji, 2 cups already I have taken, he says. You say, oh, 2 cups ho gaya, zyada nahi khana chahiye, mat kha. Then he will say, he's a confused fellow. You think like that, isn't it? See, we have to be strict with ourselves, but lenient with others in serving prasad. Correct now? So, therefore, pleasing other Vaishnavas is a great art, undoubtedly. So, this topic is a very important topic, material plan making, spiritual plan making. So, I will show you some little notes and I'll conclude with this. Last part. I didn't show the notes because if I show the notes, you'll get distracted. Therefore, I didn't show you. I thought I will speak first with the examples and everything. Then when I show the 1-page notes, it will be very simple. You see, I will read it and then it will come there. Difference between material plans and spiritual plans. Please read it. Who has the mic with you?
Being prepared to follow Krishna's plan is the platform of steadiness. When a devotee
Sthairiyam.
When a devotee is on the platform, the mind's usual policy of accepting and rejecting situations based on comforts of the body no longer affects his determination to serve.
You understand this point? That means mind's usual policy is what? Sankalp? Accepting? Based on bodily comfort and mental liking, disliking. According. So body has comforts. This is comfortable, this is not comfortable. And mind has, I like this, I don't like that. So acting based on this means, that means a person is not rightly situated. Because he is not thinking what Guru and Krishna wants. He is thinking what I want. Yeah, go ahead.
All material plans arise from physical or mental considerations. Although we devise a plan to make things better, the new plan just brings a different way of things to be bad. A devotee's only real plan is to surrender to Krishna and thus become free from all material miseries. The fool, however, prefers a headache to the pain he feels in his back but has no thought of becoming free from all the pain.
Here is the example Prabhupada gave. There was a boatman who used to walk across the bank of the river and do fishing or boating and all that he would do. But there are a lot of thorns. So he said, if I become king tomorrow, he said, I will put many sacks of sand, many pillows I will put in the bank of the river so that I can walk free from the thorns, he said. His friend told him, you've become king, you don't have to do fishing at all. Correct, no? Similarly, Prabhupada said, he was so foolish that he didn't even realize that his wealth would free him from having to pull the boats at all. Similarly, people want to go from one material situation to a little more better material situation. They don't want to go to the spiritual situation. To go to spiritual situation means you have to align with Krishna. Otherwise, you go from one material situation to maybe from earth to heaven you may go, but you have to go back to Godhead. For that, you have to align with Krishna's plan. That's the point. Read this, yeah.
A devotee gives up his material desires out of love for Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, the symptom of a man fixed in transcendence is that he gives up all varieties of desires. He doesn't become desireless, but all his desires become spiritual. Prabhupada describes this as dovetailing the individual consciousness with supreme consciousness.
That means the devotee is not free from desires. He transforms material desires into spiritual desires. Isn't it? Like, for example, instead of using things for my own sense gratification, I will use it for Krishna's pleasure. That's the difference. That's what I told you about Yukta Vairagya, I told you. Next part.
A devotee surrenders his material desires not because Krishna is more powerful than he, but because he loves. He depends on Krishna because he loves Krishna. He trusts Krishna and he knows that Krishna wants his surrender. Krishna will accept our offerings if they are offered with devotion, like the item a child offers to his father from the child's plate at the dinner table. The child's offering is insignificant. The father has already provided the entire meal. The father is touched by the child's affectionate gesture. This is the mood a devotee wants to have with Krishna, unselfish, loving, and interested only in Krishna's pleasure. All other desires are simply plans to increase our suffering.
This is what I showed the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, that prasadam description we showed you. Yeah.
Our material desires form a blueprint for the next bodies. And if those desires are not even authorized plans for human behavior, then we will have to take a lower birth.
You understand the meaning now? Actually, our subtle body is called body of desires. Right now, we all have some plus, some minus desires. Good desires, bad desires, material desires. So at the time of death, the mind carries the Sugandha Vasanas and Durgandha Vasanas. Sugandha Vasanas means punya desires, and Durgandha Vasanas means dirty desires. It carries both. Accordingly, the next body is designed. So the subtle body forms a template for the next body. That's what he's telling. So we should not have subhuman behavior type of desires. We should cleanse the mind. So to cleanse the mind, fill it up with divine desires or spiritual desires, so sublime that you will not be taken to lower form or a human form, but you will be taken to divine form. So you'll become a Golokvasi. From Bulokvasi, you become Golokvasi. Go ahead.
The fixed devotee therefore sees all the material desires and their results as phantasmagoria. He knows he can find satisfaction in self alone. What is satisfying to the self? Only service to Krishna.
That is what I explained most part of my lecture. That one sentence. What is satisfying to the self? Yayatma suprasidati. Yes.
In a memo, Prabhupada said to one devotee, your material formulas will not help you. Krishna consciousness means to become mad after Krishna and to follow the order of spiritual master. Why have you missed this important point? Therefore, surrender is the only plan a devotee makes.
It's a very beautiful statement. Huh? So in this way, by surrendering Arjuna surrendered. Dhruva Maharaj wanted to fight the battle. He was told not to fight. So he surrendered. Arjuna didn't want to fight. He was told to fight. He surrendered. Last time I told the example of Prevrat Maharaj. He didn't want to marry. But Brahma and Swayambha, Manu, Narada, they all told him to marry. So agreed to marry also. You will see that. So many times you will find many of the people, like we say now, man proposes. Yeah. So we should be willing to change. One last example I will say, and I will conclude. You know, once in Mayapur, His Holiness Ranath Maharaj took us to one place called Remuna. And then there he was giving on everybody was given the pot of kheer. What is that kheer called as? Amrit Keli, yeah. So Amrit Keli, Akshir Sar Gopinath, yeah. Actually, Maharaj's desire was that all devotees should release that in that holy land only, Matka, holy land. But the managers had a different plan. They had kept all the matkes in baskets in the buses. And they told Maharaj, 7 o'clock we have to leave. So that devotees board the buses, we should reach before 8:30 or 8:30 or 9. Devotees want to sleep early. Last 2 days it got late. But then Maharaj was giving a lecture and 7 o'clock he ended and asked the devotees, would you like to eat the Amrita Keli that Madhavendra Puri tasted in this beautiful moonlit night of Remuna? Or would you all like to get up now and rush to your buses? And when the buses are going very fast, they are going. And in that, would you like to eat Amrita Keli? When Maharaj asked like this, everybody understood what Maharaj wants. The first one. And then Maharaj told the managers, you take this thing from the devotees, vote from the devotees. And then the manager asked, do you want to eat the Amritikeli right now here? For that only big Haribol, everybody shouted. And the manager was saying, wait a minute, one more option is there. Devotee said, we don't want to hear the next option. And Maharaj said, that's an overwhelming response. Therefore, you have to bring all those baskets, give it. So it was given. And when they started eating, Maharaj started speaking also. And he started speaking more pastimes and everything, and it went on. And then by the time they left, it was 8:30 or 9. And manager's jaws dropped. And next day morning, Maharaj called Shamanpu and Radhakrishna Prabhu. Maharaj is very, very affectionate. He would call he knows that some devotees are morose, especially he called them. And Maharaj asked, so is everything all right? They said, yes, Maharaj, everything all right. And Maharaj said, you see, when a man proposes, Lord Chaitanya disposes. So since God disposes, he said, Lord Chaitanya disposes. He said, see, if you are detached, you won't be morose. We should do our best, but we should ultimately be detached. Why we should be detached? We should ultimately dance according to whose tune? Krishna's tune. Because the gopis in the rasa dance, if you see, they dance according to Krishna's flute. And they dance. And Krishna is dancing according to the gopis' dance. You will see that. If a gopi is dancing like this, Krishna is also dancing. You've seen that? Gopi is beating the hand, Krishna is beating the hand. You will see that picture of rasa dance if you see. So we dance according to Krishna's tune and Krishna dance according to devotee's tune. That is spiritual world. Both are aligning with each other. That's what makes the spiritual world a very beautiful place. Like last time I told you, Dena Bandhu Dena Na. Correct. Both. Both is there. Meri dori tere haath, teri dori mere haath. That kind of loving reciprocation can only make the spiritual world a very beautiful place. That's what is making it. Same spiritual world can descend in our homes, in our temples, in our communities, provided we understand this, putting aside our personal will and wish, aligning with the Supreme will. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much. Now you can.